I have a secret to tell you. The magical gifts, skills, and abilities that we've all been told are superhuman are, in fact, our true nature. As each individual embarks on a spiritual path of aligning themselves back into coherence with their true nature, with their true essence, and back into coherence and resonance with the divine, those magical gifts, skills, and abilities that we have heard myths about or have been told they aren't real, they aren't possible, what you will realize is they are innate natural abilities that we had all been holding, but had been blocking ourselves from accessing our true potential. So in this video today, I'm going to talk you through some of the fifth dimensional spiritual gifts, skills, and abilities that the human being is actually very capable of, but that we have all been living out of the awareness of the fact that these are even possible for us. So, full disclosure, I have a list today. Usually I'm always just speaking from my heart, but I'm going to be using a list today just to mix it up. So, first on the list, we have the gift, skills, and abilities that will be unlocked on your spiritual journey. We have synchronicities. So, synchronicities is going to be when you experience divine timing or divine alignment in things. So, it might be opportunities or people or breadcrumbs that you're basically receiving in your experience as you move through life, where things just are timed perfectly, or you get the exact answer that you need right when you need it. And so you're having this experience of your reality is starting to respond to you. Your reality is starting to bring you the things you need in a very graceful, easy, effortless way. This is the first gift, skill, and ability that you will experience as you embark on your spiritual journey. That can also look like things like angel numbers or patterns, which is messages that are coming through from our guides in the non-physical realms. So next on the list, we have the psychic senses. So this will be the opening up of your spirit vision, hearing, knowing, feeling, smelling, and tasting. This will start to give you a much deeper amount of information and data about your reality and about your experiences as you move through life. So this information is going to be telling you more things about yourself, more things about other people, more things about your environment. So you basically have like a massive evolutionary advantage when suddenly you're tapping into more data, more information in each now moment. Sometimes it will be psychic information that is coming through from your own soul, from your higher self, from the divine. Sometimes it will be information, like I said, that can come through from guides or angels or beings on the other side who have crossed over, for example, ancestors or loved ones, who are then able to communicate with you through messages that come to your psychic senses. So it's a little bit like suddenly living in two worlds, because it's not just the physical realm that you're existing and experiencing, you're starting to simultaneously experience connection and guidance and support from the spirit side of your existence as well. Obviously, that helps a lot. So the next gift, skill, and ability we have on the list is tapping into your omniscience. So as you manage to deepen the connection with your own spirit and your own energy, what you are in effect doing is expanding the connection that you have to the divine. What this unlocks is your internal innate ability to access your own omniscience. Omniscience is meaning all knowledge. how does this look in real life? So if you have a question about something or about someone or about an opportunity, you can basically start turning inside, going internally to receive the guidance from the part of you that is connected across all time and all space. What this means is you can receive the information and the data from two different paths before you actually make the decision. So let's say you have some kind of choice to make. You've got option A or option B. You can access the data and the information of the outcome of those two options. If I make this decision, it will turn out like this and I will feel this way. If I make the other decision, it's going to feel like this. And what you can do is get feedback from the future about how those different options will play out. Obviously, this changes everything, because then your ability to align into higher timelines and higher choices, higher decision making, is going to compound massively in the rate of evolution and growth that you have in your life, and your ability to get to where you want to be, to become the future version of yourself that you want to experience. You are able to tap into the answers of how do I get there more quickly, more easily, more gracefully. So this is the idea of the omniscience. You're able to access the answers and the information from the part of yourself that is infinite. And we're basically downloading that guidance, that help, that advice into the part of us here that's experiencing ourselves as being limited and being finite and being separate in physical reality. So that's fun. Okay, next on the list we have telepathy. So let me give you a few anecdotes of what this has been like for me. Telepathy can mean having a high sense of empathy with others. So when you're in the company of others, it's almost like you're able to feel so strongly into what others are thinking and feeling in their energetic field that you can actually tune into not just reading their field or reading their energy, but actually tapping into the thoughts that they're having. The experience I've had of this has been that there have been many times, many instances where I've been in the company of someone, often someone who I don't know, a stranger who I've just met, and I hear a thought and I say it out loud. And then they immediately say, "Oh my God, I was just thinking that." And what's actually happened is I had tuned to their energy frequency and we had the same thought at the same time. So I heard their thought in my head. I thought it was my thought, and so I said it out loud. And then, in fact, it was actually their thought, which I didn't actually realize until I'd said it and they confirmed that to me. So that is a process of growth that I'm going through, being able to more easily determine the thoughts that I'm hearing. Are they really mine? Or am I hearing this from someone else that I'm in the immediate vicinity of? Another way that telepathy can be experienced is when you are in the company of people who are speaking different languages, or even someone who maybe is out of earshot. Maybe you can't hear what they're saying. So I've had many experiences, especially where I've been traveling across many different countries the last couple years, and have been in the company of people who are speaking another language, who it's a language that I don't know any words of, zero knowledge of. And yet there are times when I am receiving their intention, receiving their energetic frequency of what it is that they're saying and what they're thinking and what they're feeling. There have literally been times when someone has spoken to me in another language and I've been able to answer them immediately back with an answer based on having received that vibration of what is it that they're communicating. And it's not the same as translating. It's not like hearing them say the words and then I'm thinking word by word, oh, what could that mean, that word in that order. It's more that I'm receiving the understanding of their intention instantly. It's a little bit more like, I want to say it's something that we experience in some ways when we communicate using emojis. If you use an emoji and you send it to someone, then you can actually communicate quite a lot of information in an instant. So anyone can see that image of the face or the expression, and there's a lot of like rich data that anybody from any language could perceive and understand from the image of the emoji. And so that's a little bit like what my experiences of telepathy have been. Someone speaking to me in words that I don't understand, have no idea what words are that they're saying, and yet I'm able to receive the impression of their intention, which is something that is transcending language altogether. It's transcending words. I wouldn't be able to then use their words back to them. I'm only able to respond in English or in, body language communication through signals. So it's beyond the use of language. It's something energetic. Telepathy, of course, as well, is something that can be used to communicate with the non-physical realms. So when you can attune your frequency into connecting with other spirits, other beings, even plants or trees or animals, what you will find is you can actually create a telepathic connection between yourself and these entities, these beings. And what it does is creates this energy telephone line where then you are having this communication channel. You're having an intention, which is in the form of a thought, which may be in the language you understand, and the other entity, the other being, is receiving and understanding your intention, and they're sending an intention back, which then you're translating into your own language in your own mind. This is happening energetically, it's happening internally, it's on the soul level. Obviously, in those situations, if you're speaking with an animal, for example, I'm receiving their intention and my consciousness is converting it into the English language. But it wouldn't matter if it was someone else who spoke another language, because, again, the language aspect of speaking in English is something that is happening internal to me. So when the telepathic communication is happening energetically, there are no language barriers. It transcends the use of language altogether. Whew. Okay, telepathy, that's that one. So moving on, the next on the list we have remote viewing. So remote viewing is where you can send out your conscious awareness essentially anywhere in time and space. Let's say, for example, I'm going to go into a meditation, and then in that meditation, what I can do is essentially untether my awareness from my physical body, and I can then transmit it, send it out. It's almost like sending out this drone to anywhere in time and space and have experiences or learn information. I can go into the past, I can go into the future. And you can explore, you can see things, you can experience things, you can see beings, you can see how things played out. You are learning, receiving wisdom and information. And in some ways, you can think of this as like using this energy body, which you send out to do the remote viewing. It's almost like experiencing yourself as a ghost before you've died. That's the, known common word that people would use, oh, a ghost. What we're really talking about is the energy body. And you can experience yourself in that form and send it out anywhere you want to go to explore. without having to die. You don't need to die to go to do that and experience that. You can do it now. You just need to have the awareness that it's even possible. And through the experience and some practice of connecting with your energy bodies and your spiritual essence, then those experiences will become more and more vivid, and you will have a greater level of control. A great way to start experiencing this, if you've never had any experience with this and you're interested to give it a go, this is my advice. Start by trying to do a meditation, and when you sit down, close your eyes and just take a few minutes to really calm your awareness down. And then set the intention to start to step out of your body and move around the room from the view of the energy body. So you're not moving the physical body. Your physical body is still in meditation. And what this can look like is, it might literally be like you suddenly have an image in your mind's eye of seeing yourself sat in meditation. It's probably not going to be as vivid as seeing the whole entire room at once. Like, you're probably not going to have much peripheral vision. But you may literally, first of all, start by having an image of seeing your body sat in meditation position, almost as though you're a fly on the wall, or you've walked into that room and you've seen yourself sat meditating. If you can shift your perspective to that vision, the fly on the wall point of view, then that is the very beginnings of remote viewing. Then start to try to move around. From the information that you already know about the room, you can start to piece together images in your mind, and don't worry if it feels like, oh, I'm making this up. That's fine. Start to move around the room and say, oh, here is my chair, and here is my table, and here is my bed, or whatever it may be. And as you do this, what you're experiencing is viewing reality from the eyes of the energy body. This is the mechanism of remote viewing. And keep practicing this. Start by just doing this, looking at yourself in meditation. And what you will find is, as you do it more and more, you build up more confidence, more belief. You're releasing those limiting beliefs that, oh, this is not possible, this is not real. And then it will be the exact same experience that you will have when you start to then say, okay, I want to go somewhere else. I don't want to just be in this room. I don't want to just look at my own body sat on the floor motionless. I want to go and explore somewhere else. And then that will open up a whole new world of possibility. So that's remote viewing. Remote viewing is also the beginning phases of what's called bilocation. So bilocation is the experience of existing in two locations simultaneously. How this occurs is, once you have enough practice of sending out your energy body, which is your ghostly body, and once you are doing this to a a more advanced level, your energy body can actually then start to decrease in density, and it can eventually actually become or be perceived as being physical. So what this would allow you to do is to be, say you're in your room meditating, that's your initial physical location. You can then learn to bilocate by sending out your conscious awareness of your energy body and essentially manifesting your energy body in a visible way where people can actually perceive it and interact with it, and they will believe that you are there, when actually your consciousness is being split and shared across two different locations. This is something that I'm sure there are lots of stories of people who have been known to be able to bilocate, but the one that's coming to mind is Maharaji, an Indian guru. Neem Karoli Baba is his name. And there were lots of accounts of people being able to confirm that he was experienced in two locations at the exact same time, very far apart. And so this is the phenomenon of bilocation, where actually the consciousness can separate itself out and experience and respond and interact with two locations and two spaces simultaneously. So that's sort of the more advanced version of the remote viewing, but start out with the remote viewing, and that's a good place to begin. Okay, next on the list we have astral travel. So let's understand, remote viewing is where we are traveling in this dimension, in this realm, across time and space. That's the way that I refer to it as, or that's the use I have of remote viewing. Astral travel, however, is where you're going through a similar process, but you're actually going to be traveling into other dimensions of consciousness rather than exploring other places in this dimension, the third dimension of time, space, matter. Instead, you're going to project your consciousness maybe down into lower dimensions or up into higher dimensions. So each of these dimensions are layers of reality where experience is happening, consciousness is expressing itself, beings are existing, and it's a little bit like each layer or each dimension of consciousness, each dimension of reality is a little bit like being on a different ride at the theme park. So if you're at a theme park and you get on one roller coaster, it's like that's one experience, and that might be the third dimension. But you can simultaneously, or you can also, after you get off that ride, go and say, okay, now I'm going to go on the next roller coaster, go on the next ride. And that can be an experience of existing and exploring in a different dimension where things are very different, the beings are very different, the rules are very different. So, astral travel is the exploration of other dimensions where you're not in this third dimension of Earth. And what you will find is there's a whole realm of different experiences to have and different things to explore, different beings to connect with. You learn so much about yourself and who and what you truly are by not only experiencing yourself in other dimensions, but seeing the huge variety of life that exists and knowing that, you know, this physical world on Earth that we have all been led to believe is the totality of life. Astral travel is the way to completely rule that out and understand that no, there is a lot of life out there. It's just that you've got to know how to access it. You've got to know how to use your consciousness as the vessel to access these other places and other spaces, other beings, other experiences. So once you can open your awareness to understanding that those spaces exist and you have the ability to explore them, then it becomes very fun and you're like, oh, okay, this is like a day out at the theme park. I can get off the ride I'm on and I can go onto another ride and see what else is happening. See who else is hanging out. Okay. The next gift, skill, or ability on the list is emotional mastery. So, this is the experience of being able to have a level of command over your consciousness, over your energy, and over your reality. This is the process of being able to understand that I can determine the experiences that I'm having and the emotions I'm having, the reactions I'm having. When you have a painful response to something and you realize, this is something that I can learn from, I can transmute this, I can release it, then that process of being able to decipher the information from your own energy and your own consciousness, you can use that to alter the future, alter your reality, alter the experiences that you are walking yourself into. This is the concept of healing your future. If you can tap into the information of your emotions and the divine intelligence that they hold, then you can start to have a level of command over the future timelines and future experiences that you will encounter. This is the command of reality, which obviously one extreme of it is like instant manifestation, of being able to instantly manifest something. But really, there's the broader scope of this is determining the future that you will encounter externally by transmuting and taking authority and accountability for the internal experience that you are having at each moment. When you truly understand that your reality is an outpicturing of your consciousness, then suddenly it seems really important that, like, damn, I need to like pay some attention to my consciousness and work out what the hell's going on in there, because that's what's being thrown back at me externally. And once you can understand this loop is occurring, then the gift, skill, or ability that you encounter, that you unlock, is command over what the future holds and how you will feel and how miraculous your experience here in physical reality will be. Okay, next is frequency attunement. So this is something where, first of all, you have to understand that your energy field is a frequency of energy. Your energy field, I've described it before as being like a hamster ball that we are all existing within. And this hamster ball is literally an energetic vibration. So I'm talking about the speed of vibration of your atoms, of your particles, and also the angle of rotation. That is what determines your level of vibration. And so in some ways you can think of levels of vibration, frequency, as being like almost like a radio frequency, where you can tune a radio to a different number and receive the information of a different radio station. So we're all operating as an energy frequency within our own hamster ball, within our own bubble, within our own aura, consciousness. And as you learn to evolve on your spiritual path and you're moving into greater levels of divine alignment, then what you will find is that your frequency will start to attune the things around you into resonance. So what do I mean? Let's say I'm meeting with a person, or I walk up to someone in the street. What they will experience is entering into the frequency of my hamster ball. And if my aura, my energy bubble, is attuned to a higher frequency, a more loving frequency, the other person will have the opportunity to actually lift and shift to match that vibration. what this can mean is you start to have the experience of seeing people expressing at their best. You start to be a beacon for bringing the best out of other people. Because when they're in your energy field, they will actually receive an increase in their vibration if they allow themselves to attune to that. And they will actually feel better. They will actually feel more connected and more divinely aligned. And so they will feel happier. And so what you will find is as you move through life, as you engage with people and you're holding a higher frequency, the version of the other person that you meet, that you receive, that you interact with, will be someone who is also benefiting and is feeling more joyful, more optimistic, more aligned, more connected. And that obviously makes life so much easier when you are generally able to get the best out of someone, or seeing people who always tend to be in a good place or happy when they see you. It is a choice that they are subconsciously making. If they are thinking, oh no, I'm wanting to stay in my vibration of misery or suffering or sadness, then they can choose that too. But you're a walking invitation, you're a walking opportunity that, in my experience, most people will lift and most people will meet and will have a shared interaction, like a boomerang of love and connection and joy, which that is a beautiful experience to have. The other part of the frequency attunement experience is that as you improve your spiritual alignment by transmuting your distortions and your false belief systems, the frequency that you're holding will call in other people of a like frequency. So the more that you can do your healing work, the more that you can raise your vibration to become increasingly loving, increasingly joyful, and increasingly in alignment and connection with the divine, you will find that other people who are of that same vibration, of that higher resonance, will be called into your reality. You will be drawn together. There will be synchronistic experiences where people who are operating on that same radio station frequency, you'll be drawn together like magnets. So this is a beautiful knock-on effect of doing your own internal healing work, is that you will start to come together with and meet with and collaborate and co-create with other people who are also on a similar path or at that same similar vibration or have those similar perspectives. So it's like a moth being drawn to a flame or a light. You will be drawn into each other's presence. Okay, amazing. So this is the last one on the list. The last one here is the I've got written down levitation. What I really mean by that is you will experience a altered frequency again of your physical body. So your experience in your physical body will change. As you increase the vibration of your energy field and your soul, your consciousness, that hamster ball, it's your soul and the hamster ball of energy that is actually projecting out into the physical body. So your physical body will shift. Your physical body will become lighter in density. The actual speed and angle of rotation of your particles will change. And it gives you a lighter experience of being alive, of being physical. You have more of a spring in your step, like literally. Your body will feel more alive, more nourished, more rejuvenated. It's almost like a process of reverse aging, like Benjamin Button going backwards, rather than things becoming older or more achy or more painful or more difficult. You will actually experience a lightening. The body becomes more expressive, more expansive, more joyful, more healthy. There's a higher sense of vitality that you will actually experience literally being in the physical body. It's almost like a little bit like if you think of the physical body as being your soul robot, as you do your healing work, transmuting your distortions, it's like your physical body is getting an upgrade. The actual hardware is being upgraded to lighter, more loving, more divine expressions of yourself. And that feels amazing. Once you also can basically lift the lid on the vibration of the physical body and the vibration of your cells, then a lot of miraculous things become possible. For example, the ability to walk through walls or alter the relationship between your physical body and your physical external environment. This is connected to the ability of levitation and lifting the body. It's like altering the frequency, altering the density. Walking through walls. This isn't something I can say I have done in this lifetime yet. But I can tell you how it's done. As I said, the body is projecting this energy. We've got this energy ball around us. And as you can tune into the higher frequency of your consciousness and of your physical body, in the same way that I described that other people who enter into your field will be altered by your resonance, then physical reality will also do the same. For example, it's possible to alter the frequency of the particles in the atoms within a physical structure, for example, a wall, through sheer proximity to it. And if you can hold a high vibration and be in close proximity to that wall, those atoms will lift in frequency to match your vibration. That then gives you the ability to actually essentially dissolve through something that was otherwise physical or solid. Because it's almost like the logic of water can pass through water. And once you have identified and released all of your limiting beliefs about what's possible and what reality is and the fact that we're physical and separate and individual, then once you have that pure, direct alignment with truth and the true nature of reality, then your physical reality, physical objects in your surroundings will modify their vibration based on the vibration of truth that you hold. That will literally allow you to pass your hand into a physical object or through a physical object or walking through a wall, because as you're holding the pure knowledge and conviction of your understanding of reality, the wall will basically dissolve around you to meet your frequency. Again, that's not something I'm saying I have actually done, but I do understand how it is possible. So, watch this space. This brings me to the end of the list, and an important point that I want to make. Understanding these phenomena as being something actually that is natural to the human being, once we understand who and what we truly are, and once we release the distortions and the narcissistic delusions that we didn't know we had been holding onto, then all of these things open up for everyone. And there will be so many more. This is just a few that I can say I've had some experiences with. But there will be many, many more that we haven't even yet discovered or haven't yet even realized. But there's an important point here to understand about how to move forward on your spiritual journey, and as you see yourself moving into the future. It would be easy to think, oh, these all sound really amazing. Oh, these are the things I want to chase. These are my desires that I want to achieve this, and this, as some kind of marker or validation of how far I've come, which that's natural. But my advice would be this: don't seek out the gifts, skills, and abilities or the miraculous events. See them as the natural consequence of having achieved a state of pure alignment. Really, it should be our understanding of the nature of reality, the understanding of the nature of our true self, the understanding of the nature of the divine. That is the thing that we should be chasing. That is the thing that we should be yearning for. And as you shift in alignment with truth and embody greater levels of divine consciousness, then these gift, skills, and abilities will be the natural consequence of having come into a pure understanding, perceiving reality with the eyes of the Christ being the divine aspect of your soul, of your energy. So that would be my advice. We have to start with acknowledging that the way that we have perceived the world, the way that we have perceived ourselves, the way that we have perceived the divine has actually been, in many ways, false, distorted. And it's really the refining and the purification, the clarification of all of these false belief systems that we didn't realize we had been holding. That is the path that we are all on. Moving into truth, moving into pure realization of the true nature of our existence as being divine consciousness. And as you can increasingly embody the awareness of divine consciousness in all things, then these miraculous, seemingly impossible gifts, skills, and abilities will be the natural consequence from the new perspective that you hold. So if you want to focus and aim on reaching a target or reaching a goal, really what we're aiming for is truth. We're wanting to release the distortions, release the lies that we had been living in accordance with, and call on the presence of the divine, call on the presence of your own soul, your higher self, and other spiritual guides to guide you and assist you in this process of shedding those false belief layers, shedding those distortions. And what will be left is the purity, the clarity of divine alignment. That is the gift that we are all awaiting. That is the opportunity that lies before you now. It's time to seize it. It's time to unwrap the gift that we didn't know belonged to us.